Zeke, still not at camp in Oxnard. In Cabo, I still contend that a bad move by him to say he was going to Cabo. He should have said Mexico City.
Disagree.
Because listen, if you say you go to Mexico City, you can use the excuse of I'm training at altitude, like many fighters do. And I just think that Cabo has sort of an air of vacation mode and margaritas and women and all that stuff that goes along with it.
Can I add a but?
Yeah.
I was recently in Cabo about a month ago, and it is hot as hell there. So he's losing weight training in Cabo. I mean, it was like 91 every day in Cabo a month ago.
Yeah.
It's got to be like mid-90s to 100 every day now, and I know Zeke's not training indoors.
Yeah, I was in Cancun in January. What a dump. May as well be downtown Sarajevo. What a hole that place
Cancun is turning bad. I just was near there, but I'm telling you, the cartels and all that stuff's taking over.
Oh, my God. But we'll save that for hour 4. All right, but here's where we need to get into this, because Stephen Jones, the son of Jerry Jones, spoke about the situation with Zeke on 105.3 The Fan in Dallas. Here was his takeaway on the Zeke situation.
I still think that's within realm. At the same time, I think the market reset with Le'Veon. I think you see what happens with Gurley, how tenuous it is, and then you get a great player like Le'Veon who's every bit as well thought of as Gurley, and he had unfettered free agency. He had 32 teams with no draft picks attached, and the market was 13.5, less than Gurley. So at the end of the day, business changes, and we certainly pay attention to that as well.
So that was Stephen Jones talking about the Zeke situation. And J-Mac, I know you, in looking ahead, see fool's gold with the Dallas Cowboys should they continue their hard stance of not wanting to give them the deal.
Little memory jog, Jonas. I believe it was 93. Emmitt Smith holding out, wants to be the highest paid player in the NFL. And the Cowboys are like, well, we're holding firm, buddy. We'll ride our backup, whoever that was in 93. Cowboys open 0-2. Jerry Jones comes running, begging. The way the Toronto Raptors pathetic fans were begging Kawhi Leonard to stay in Toronto.
You have to take apart everybody. Yeah, I mean, it's like, God, why do you got to take apart Toronto? Wow.
And Jerry Jones is like, whatever you want, Emmitt, please come back. Jerry opens a pocketbook. Emmitt comes to the team. They win the Super Bowl. Okay. This year, if you look at the schedule, and again, I know you're a gambling guy, and I talk gambling a lot on FS1. When you look at that first 3 games, the Cowboys are going to be considerable favorites against the Giants, the Deadskins, and the Miami Dolphins. We're looking at 3-0 Dallas. If Ezekiel Elliott's not there, and it's going to be like, who needs Zeke? I'm telling you, you can write the headlines now, and it's all going to fall apart because they are playing a difficult schedule. It will not be easy for them. I think it's a first-place schedule. Did they beat out the Eagles for first place?
Yes.
And they're going to fall apart without Zeke. It will be a disaster. Jonas, I went deep on this on my weekend show 2 weeks in a row. Dak Prescott is an average to below average quarterback in the NFL. Okay? I would rather pay Andy Dalton $20 million than Dak $30. There's no way I'm not paying Ezekiel Elliott. A 3-down back. He's going to run, catch passes, and block. They need him, or they're not going to the playoffs.
And he's got a different kind of leverage, and I've said this. Melvin Gordon's got no leverage at all.
He's in a tough spot.
No
I feel
leverage
bad for
whatsoever.
him.
And Melvin Gordon and Le'Veon Bell were kind of in different situations because Melvin Gordon's got his quarterback. His franchise quarterback is Phillip Rivers.
Yeah.
They're set in stone. They were 4-0 without Melvin Gordon. Le'Veon Bell, it's not like the Steelers were going to budge. They've got Ben Roethlisberger. James Conner did a good enough job. He wasn't as good as Le'Veon Bell, and they had a ton of talent on that team.
Did miss the playoffs.
Yeah, they did miss the playoffs, but I think that Zeke has got a different kind of power and a different kind of leverage here because he doesn't have one of those quarterbacks in Dak Prescott that's there. Week 10 is the mark to pay attention to because this feels...
You think he could hold out to Week 10?
I think.
Wow.
I think he would consider it because if he shows up Week 10, he's going to get credited for a year. If he doesn't show up at all this season, it's not like Le'Veon Bell, who was in the second franchise tag. He's going to lose a year. So he's going to find himself in the same spot if he sits out the whole year 2 years from now. It's just going to roll the contract over, and it's going to be in a similar situation. It feels, though, like the Cowboys are getting more and more annoyed. And I think Jerry Jones, thought that him defending Zeke all the times that he did publicly, ripping Roger Goodell, going to bat for him, so to speak, I think Jerry Jones thought that would carry a little bit of weight during the negotiations, and it hasn't. And I think they're pissed off about it, which is why this is interesting to watch.
And the worst part is Amari Cooper's in line to get paid too. So they were bad last year. Cooper shows up and they go on this tear.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I'm not paying Amari Cooper before Ezekiel Elliott, and I don't think Dak Prescott's very good. If you look at the advanced stats according to the Football Outsiders, Dak Prescott's like the 24th best quarterback in the league.
Yeah. And here's
and you're going to give him $30 million, Jonas?
And they've talked about that there's offers on the table. I know Jane Slater from NFL Network has said there's offers on the table that puts each of those guys in the top 5 paid at their position.
Okay, well, Zeke, that's fine.
Okay.
But why are you paying Dak?
And here's where this gets even more tricky for the Cowboys. Everybody thinks, look, when the Dallas Cowboys have got that much young talent, oh, man, they're in a great spot. No, they're actually not, and here's why. You can make an argument against paying all 3 of these guys. You can make an argument against paying Zeke based on what he's done off the field. You can say, listen, and the position he plays.
Wait, what has he done off the field?
Okay,
he pulled down a girl's top at a St. Patrick's Day parade?
Well, no, but there was the issue.
She didn't go press charges.
Yeah, there was the issue coming from college. He had a reputation in college. Joey Bosa reportedly moved out of the house he was staying in with Zeke because it got too wild
Zeke's
there.
a party guy.
Yeah,
he's got a lot of girls all up on him.
But I'm saying if Dallas, you know they're bringing this stuff up to negotiations, and it's the running back position, which always breaks down early before everybody else. So I'm not saying they should, but they could use that. You can also make the argument, if you were to list the top wide receivers in the NFL, you might get to like 15 before Amari even comes up.
Yeah, I don't think he's top 10 for sure.
Yeah, you might get to 15, and then if you were to list the top quarterbacks in the NFL and somebody said they've got Dak Prescott around number 20, you can't really argue it. And you could even, some people would argue maybe 22 to 23. So Dallas, although it seems like they're in this great spot because they've got a quarterback that they took in the 4th round and he's won a bunch of games and he's durable. And then they got a running back who's one of the top running backs in the league. And then they've also got a wide receiver who is a number 1 pick and they're pot committed to, and they traded a number 1 pick to get. You can look at that and say, man, Dallas is in a great spot. I actually think they're in a really, really difficult spot.
I mean, listen, a really difficult spot's the Miami Dolphins. So they're not in a bad spot, but they're in a very challenging. Is that a better word?
Challenging, yes.
Because you're right. You got to make decisions on who to pay. And listen, this is a defense that's supposed to be awesome. And they let C.J. Anderson run for $150.
Yeah.
And then Gurley had like $125 in that playoff loss. They couldn't stop a nosebleed in that game. And I just don't. This is going to sound radical, and I know some people are going to get angry. I firmly believe. Are you a 49ers fan at all, Jonas?
Not a fan, but I like.
I watched Nick Mullens fill in last year for Jimmy Garoppolo, and Nick Mullens had nobody. He was throwing to George Kittle and a bunch of guys who were probably in whatever the G League is of the NFL.
Yeah, the AAF.
There you go.
Yeah,
not the one that tanked.
Yeah, they couldn't pay their bills.
yeah. Nick Mullens.
But by the way, when the founder of the league calls you up and says, "Hey man, would you mind not cashing that check till after 6:30 on Thursday?" Then you know you got a problem in your league.
So Nick Mullens is thrown to that type of player, and he was pretty good. Look at the numbers. It's a small sample size. He was a good quarterback last year. He's probably going to be a top 3 or 4 backup this year. If I'm Jerry and I don't want to pay Dak, I would try to make some kind of end run at Nick Mullens. Now, I know people are going to, you're an idiot, Nick Mullens. I'm telling you, you need that quarterback on the rookie deal, the cheap deal. Look what the Jets did. Sam Darnold, they got him on the rookie deal. Let's load up Le'Veon Bell, bring in Crowder, give me C.J. Mosley on defense. And all the smart teams are doing that, and then you got to pay the guy $100 million, and it kind of falls apart. Go ask the Giants about that.
I promised myself I was going to give a standing ovation once an hour filling in for Rob and Chris here on a Wednesday. Last hour was John Gruden and his impactful speech to start off Hard Knocks. This hour, the hot take of the century. Nick Mullens is the new starting quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys.
Make it happen,
according
baby.
to Jason McIntyre. I love it. Swing that axe, baby. Go hard on a guy.
If you're Jerry and you call up and offer a second for Mullens, I don't even think the Niners do that.
You don't think the Niners would take a second-round pick for Nick Mullens?
Jimmy Garoppolo has never played 7 straight NFL games in his career. He got hurt in New England, hurt last year. 49ers, they got to deliver for Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch. You're scoffing at Mullens. I'm telling you.
Nick Mullens?
Hey, Rob G, we may need an entire segment on Nick Mullens. He is a good-looking young quarterback, man.
Wow. All right.
Nope, not.
Rob G is just laughing. Hey, you want to open the phone lines? Let me get the jabronis to call in and crush me.
Hey, let's go live. Dan Beyer of Fox Sports Radio joining us here on Fox Sports Radio. Dan, is Nick Mullens the quarterback of the future for the 49ers and possibly the Cowboys?
Nope, not. Mm-mm.
See, so Dan Beyer weighing.
Dan Beyer has weighed in. It's official.